Well, he's someone you can't not have a good time with while making media magic, and who joins me in proving that when it comes to retirement, failure is the only option. Hey, everyone, I'm Ed Garston. Welcome to episode 122 of Tales from the Beat, where we look at news and PR from both sides of the scrimmage line. And the gentleman I just described, my guest, longtime friend, one-time accomplice at some version of Chrysler, and above all, a skilled, savvy communicator and sometimes singer, Sam Locricchio. He's director of account services at Detroit area PR agency Near Perfect Media. Hey, Sam, how are you?
I'm great after that intro. Wow. Thank you so much, Ed. It's great
Well,
being with
I only take 10%, as your agent.
you. Very nice.
Yeah, no, it's great to see you. I think the last time we saw each other, what was a few weeks ago at a Cox Automotive thing, munching free charcuterie on
At the Automotive
crackers
Hall of Fame.
or something. Yes, at the Automotive Hall of Fame.
I
That
was
was,
very depressed. Didn't see either one of our pictures on the wall, but I'm sure that with time they'll change their way.
I think you have to be retired, not retired, like 25
Yeah.
years before they consider your picture, or you get a PR guy to say, "Hey, this guy's pretty good." But so I know that I lightly described your career. So why don't you fill in the blanks for our viewers because you've been an automaker, you've been an agency, you've done all this stuff.
Yeah, it's been a white knuckle ride, but it's
Yeah.
given me everything in my life. You know, started out nonprofit, went to agency, the big three here. Throw in VW on the side if you'd like,
Uh-huh.
and a few auto shows, and
Man.
that's why my hair looks the way it does today. But
Yeah, I
it's
got
been
I
a
got a
great
little hair
ride.
brewing back here too.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
we worked together at the artist formerly known as Chrysler, so
Yeah.
we've seen both sides of that ball. And
Yes.
times have changed, but ironically, certain issues haven't. Um, this is we're going on at least me 35, 40 years of doing this,
Well,
and
yeah.
supposedly I'm retired. To your joke there,
Yeah.
3 years ago, I kind of walked from my friends at Ford, and I couldn't I couldn't not do anything. It
Yeah.
was after all those years of
Oh, sure.
crisis and things that didn't get in the paper that you got kudos for.
Yeah.
I still needed to move, so I am at Near Perfect Media, and we have a balance of not only automotive clients but also
Yeah.
hospitality. And yeah, I'm the director of account services when Justin Neer, who works with my wife, who's an executive VP there,
Yeah.
Sarah,
Yes.
they found out I was kind of doing some side projects, and he's like, let's put them to work. So 3 to 5 hours a day.
Keep you. I mean, how often can you play golf? Right? I mean,
Not a golfer, but I am getting better at the singing because, there's
all right.
nobody home and I'm singing to myself. So
You're
the only
singing to
one that
yourself?
gives me grief is the dog.
Are the exhaust tones still a thing?
The exhaust tones are a staple, ready to play your next catered affair.
Is that right? Well,
Yeah.
we could have the I don't know, let's see I don't know, the 65th anniversary of my bar mitzvah. You can play at that, I
I
think.
saw that on the APA calendar.
Did you? Okay, yeah. I mean, we're gonna have stuffed dharma and all the usual chazarai that you serve at the. I think I looked at my bar mitzvah album actually a couple of weeks ago. There's like three people still alive. So,
We've played to three people before.
have you? Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
I was in a group once called the Scenics, where it was so bad the drummer didn't have all he had was a snare drum and no stand. He had to put it on a desk chair.
Well, sometimes when our drummer forgets, I fill in as lead singer and drum stand.
That's awesome. That's
You have
awesome.
to be flexible.
That's awesome. So before we get into the automotive stuff, we got to talk about this thing that just happened with a non-automotive company, but this company, this data company, astronomer, where right the CEO and the HR woman were caught canoodling on Kiss Cam during the Coldplay concert, and lead singer, right, Chris Martin, he said something. What? They're either having an affair or they're shy because
Very nervous. Yeah.
they
Well, he was right on both levels.
Well, yeah, I mean that's he's successful. I mean he writes love songs, writes breakup songs, so he knows. But the thing that the company did then was put out this little 60-second video with Gwyneth Paltrow, who ironically, of course, is Chris Martin's ex-wife.
Right.
Totally humorous. If I'm sure most of you have seen it. I think I just read that. I don't know how many million views it's
I think
had.
it was 27 million people.
Incredible. And I just watched it again for about the ninth time. And to me, it's a tour de force. I'm just curious as to, what you thought of that tactic and if it was successful or not, and if what you would have done in a situation like that.
Uh, well, first and foremost, based on my taste, if you go to Coldplay, you're looking for trouble. Oh, God. Anyway,
Yeah, it's a little.
we'll get a lot of notes on that, I'm
I
sure.
don't have. I have none
Sorry,
of
folks.
it.
Not a Coldplay fan. But if you're going to go,
Yeah.
maybe you don't want to cheat on your spouse on a video camera.
Mm.
Um, and even if you're not, you probably don't want to cheat on your spouse. However, I think they were at a point of no return with both
Hmm.
these individuals.
Yeah.
Whether or not you knew what the hell the company did a week ago or not, reputation management is the heart of what public relations is supposed to be.
Sure.
And when you have people in power, this wasn't Bill from the loading dock,
Hmm.
excuse my French, boffin, Jenny from
Yeah.
accounting,
Right.
that this was something that could be handled internally. This was not only on a huge scale, but
Yeah.
you're the boss.
Right.
And it's your job to maintain the integrity of the company. You are the
Sure.
face of the company.
Yeah.
And let's throw in a side note, the HR director,
Yeah.
who is your police of that.
Right.
So you and I are sitting in a boardroom that night with a bunch of
Mm.
twitching board members, and
Yes.
they're looking at you like the doctor. And they
Right.
came into the office and they go, "Well, I've got I think I have a broken finger and I need a splint." And we're
Yeah.
looking at them going, "You just
Yeah.
busted your arm and your leg.
Yes.
If I set your finger, you ain't going nowhere.
Right.
These people got to go."
Hmm.
That would have been, and I'm not an officer of the company, but you're not
Yeah.
going to maintain their reputation at the sake of a company's reputation when you have
Right.
people employed. And let's go here, you have
Yeah.
customers depending on you. The
Yeah.
product didn't fail, as
Right.
far as I know. It took me a minute to look up what the hell they did.
Yeah. Right.
Which, to Ms. Peltrow's point in her spot,
Yeah.
glad you're interested in us now.
Right.
So I think they did the right tack. I might have got Chris Martin if I could have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, just want to give you an update.
Hey, it's just an
Um,
update. Yeah. Right.
New album
Well.
still sucks, but hey,
Yeah.
anyway, the
But
I think they did the right thing by cleaning house. He had to start
yeah.
over
Hmm.
because that's the top of the house.
Oh, sure.
How are you
Sure.
supposed to influence the rest of the people that are
Right.
supposed to listen to you?
Yeah.
Externally,
Right.
he's got his own set of problems.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
he finds a
Well,
job,
he's.
that's fine. Where she finds a job, that's fine. But as
Yeah.
company
Yeah.
reputation managers in
Yeah.
PR,
Right.
you're the last line of defense.
That's it. And ethics is so important when people are considering whether to hire you or not. But the thing that I liked, and I used to find when I was doing social media at the 800 versions of Chrysler, was you'd get that argument of, do you say anything? Do you do anything? Do you act indignant? Do you use humor like they did? Uh, or there's the old saw of the community will take care of itself, especially on social media. Um, I thought that they were brave and they were quick. It was important to do it very, very quickly and don't let it
Absolutely.
fester.
Absolutely. And I think your point about humor, it's a
Yeah.
real thin line.
Yeah.
As a guy who tends to make an awful lot of jokes on
Hmm.
occasion, and as
Yeah.
a guy who has to do that sometimes on stage, you gotta
Right.
watch, what you're saying. And it's not just the
Yes.
idea of a new PC environment. It's just you're the
Yes.
face of what that is that day. And
Right.
for them to utilize the humor, they recognize the fact that it was so widespread. It was on
Yeah. Yeah.
everything. And you have to say, hey, as she did, people are now
Yes.
interested in what we do. We recognize that
Right.
people
Yeah.
are a little taken aback at what are they? Are they going to tell me my horoscope? No,
Right.
wrong word. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. So I think they handled it appropriately with
Yes.
humor,
Hmm.
despite humor being a slippery slope.
Yes. Yes. I agree. And the fact too that they didn't even have to mention what actually happened. That was beautiful. I mean, whoever wrote that, I'm sure they got a raise. They got something that was just genius, and I give them kudos for that. So I just had to talk about that because it was just so brilliant. It's just
And in
such a
this
brilliant
whole
movie.
thing, I think what gets forgotten is,
Hmm.
the ripple effect on the families of these
Yeah.
folks.
Yes.
So humor in this regard is not necessarily appropriate, but
Yeah.
recognition of the craziness of the situation that
Yeah.
cannot be denied
Right.
based on the views. I mean,
Yes.
come on.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look if this would have happened 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Would anybody
Well,
know?
I don't think they had a kiss cam. 30. I mean, you actually had I was thinking about it. I said, well, if this would happen, especially when we were growing up and somebody saw something like that, first of all, they probably wouldn't even notice it. But if they took a picture of it, they'd have to go run their camera to the photomat and wait a week for the right, and then figure out now what do I do with the damn photo? They put an envelope and send it to each other's spouse. I don't
Guy's
know.
thumb in front of the picture.
Yeah, right. Hey, look what I
Is that
got,
the CEO? But
Hi.
now you can't get away with that because everything
No.
is clear. And no one even, despite the fact that some people question what goes out on social media, there was
Yeah.
nobody denied that that was true. So, as a
Yeah.
company, you gotta note the reality, and the truth will set you free
Sure, sure. And
in
there's
any.
just to finish on that. I mean, they did it both ways. They took it seriously with the departure of those two people, and then used humor to sort of get on reset, and also actually tell people what they do is an
Yeah,
opportunity for promotion.
use it as an
So
opportunity so they know.
yeah, so it was brilliant. So let's talk about our specialty. We've been in the auto industry in one form or another for so many years. And the story that drives me crazy about how it's presented, and I talk to everybody about it, is the way this EV story has been presented. Is that, and I had a guy, I was on a radio show the other day, and he said, hey, you did a story the other day that said the EV is ready, sales are ready to bounce back. And then, like, about a week after I filed the story, there was another analysis, from one of these places. Well, EV sales are down. People love EV, people don't love EVs. Do you think, Sam, that the EV story that has been, for lack of a better term, responsibly reported, or is it just a changing wave of priorities between journalists and the automakers and the industry about how this is being portrayed about whether people really want these things?
I it all goes back to adoption of,
Hmm.
we've talked about this ad nauseum, and the ability to have charging and an infrastructure of that. And I think
Yeah,
that still makes people nervous.
yeah,
Um, yes, home charging is a way to go, but we live in Michigan, and the summer involves people saying, I'm going to go up north.
yeah,
Okay, you
right.
can do that,
Yeah,
but you're going to have to plan your route accordingly for those stops.
yes.
And people are not, unless you're unless you're in the mode to move in that way and start that lifestyle.
Hmm.
That's a difficult premise, and that has been the toughest part, is understanding the adoption. There's now an ability, with I think some of the pressure off of, you got to buy an EV, you got to buy an EV. There's a used market out there. One of our clients,
Hmm.
Plug, their
Yeah.
CEO is Jimmy Douglas, young
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
very aggressive,
Spoken with him.
has
Yeah.
a portal that people can get, your CarMax version of finding out how much wear and tear is on this vehicle up front, how much
Hmm.
wear and tear is on that battery,
Yeah.
up front. But if you want to test the waters on getting into the EV lifestyle,
Yeah.
those kinds of things have popped up. Um, I know dealers. We have a couple dealers on our roster at MPM, and it's a struggle
Yeah.
because you're paying for the floor space.
Right.
You ain't moving quick.
Yeah.
But now you've got the tax credit coming up. The federal tax credit goes away at the end of the month.
Right.
And as you've noticed, there's been a lot of push, both from an advertising standpoint as well as an earned standpoint on the PR side, that we've
Yeah.
got great deals. If you were thinking about jumping into that lifestyle,
Yes.
now is the time. Because
Sure.
in that, when that goes away,
Right.
there's a charging element payment that goes away too. There's a credit
Yes.
that goes away on that too.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that. Okay, now we get past September 30th. Now we go
Hmm.
back to your point about coverage.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how what kind of spikes we get in the next month, particularly on EVs.
Yeah.
See if that did anything, or because that once that tax credit goes away,
Yes.
we're gonna have to do a real sell job
Yeah.
if that's what people want to sell. Now, granted, there's entities out there, there's fleets out there that'll take them. You
Sure.
know,
Sure.
but I think there's less fear and just, well,
Mhm.
I'll go with the same old,
Yeah.
which is ice.
Right. I mean, I think it's the whole thing too, as you alluded to, Sam, is that people don't like to change their lifestyle unless there's a real compelling reason. Um, sure, if you got in an electric vehicle and drove it, if you've never driven one, you say, "Oh, this is awesome. They're wonderful to drive. It's a great experience,
Mm.
much less maintenance, right? Um, good for the environment, but still, you want to go on a road trip with the family, you've got to sweat it out still to this day because the the charging infrastructure still isn't there, and the president is doing his best to make sure it doesn't grow. I said it in a
And
nice
that's an
way.
impact, right? I mean, before
Yeah,
it was like, oh my God, by 2023, 2025, we got
yeah,
to have X amount of our portfolio
right.
lined up in EV and we got to do this. Now that pressure's off. And,
Sure.
if you're a car company and you've spent this R&D to get there, and
Right.
now the rug got pulled out and it's like, okay, back to same old, same old.
Yeah. So do you,
What do you do?
yeah. So do you think though the OEMs, the automakers, I used OEM, are telling their story adequately so that people are buying into the electric vehicle lifestyle? I mean, they're just putting them out there. I mean, GM comes out with these most expensive EVs first, right? The Hummers, this $350,000 Celestiq, the Cadillac, the Lyrics. They're beautiful, beautiful vehicles, but few of us can afford those. And some of the other automakers too come out with their most expensive models, and then now that they've got a backtrack, so okay, now we're broadening the product line. I'm just wondering if you think that the automakers began the story and are telling the story in an adequate way, or did they put off people by putting out these most expensive models first, thinking that maybe they were halos and to get people interested?
Short answer is no. I
Yeah,
don't think as an industry, candidly, we did that right. And I remember, I'm not going to say which car company because it was at least two of the three,
yeah,
sitting in rooms with people plotting out product,
right,
for the next 5 years
yeah,
and talking about this with no real basis of how are you going to influence the customer. The
yes,
technology sounds great. The vehicle sounds great.
yeah,
I'm not the guy buying it.
right,
I'm the guy who's got to help you sell it or at least sell it to the media.
yeah.
I'm not there. Whoa,
Hmm.
okay. And then they show you the price points
Yeah,
because everything, particularly back in the day, was even more expensive because of battery costs.
yeah, yeah.
I think there was a discussion early on in the industry about the ability of what hybrids could bring to the table. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
When I was at Ford, my last tour of duty,
Yeah.
after I was on Lincoln, they moved me over to the Ford brand, and I got to work on some SUVs. Escape,
Yeah.
obviously, was one of the first hybrids
Right.
out there, right? They had a taxi cab in New York City. This thing had 300,000 miles plus on it.
Mm.
It's a New York taxi cab. Say
Yeah.
no more, say no more. I
Right.
don't need JD Power for a durability test on
Yeah.
that,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
they've got something that can take the smell out of it.
Right.
But it was a great story about at least getting people into the mode of a different powertrain.
Yes.
I think a lot of what happened with EV was here it is. This is going to be the
Hmm.
next thing. You got to buy it. Oh,
You
by the way,
got it.
it's
Yeah.
40 G's.
Right.
What? Wait, whoa,
Well,
whoa, whoa, whoa. How do I keep it fueled?
yeah.
Well, you got to charge it.
Right.
Okay. Where?
Hmm.
Well, probably best do it at home.
Yeah.
I got to pay for that. Uh-huh.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
do I get it on the road? Oh.
Good luck.
I
Good
mean,
luck.
now I'll go back a few years, and I was
Right.
kind of like sitting in EV going, huh,
Yeah. I
okay.
mean, yeah, you can't. I mean, it's not like running out of gas and expect a AAA to dump a gallon of electricity in your car while you're at the
I'm
side of
supposed
the
to hover
road.
my phone over the top of
Yeah,
the thing. Is she
right.
going to go another 10
It,
miles? No.
it's
So,
not going
I
to
mean,
happen.
there was that apprehension up front. Then there was the price point up front.
Yeah.
Then there was the governmental pressure of, I got to get this done, boy.
Yeah.
And it all just created the perfect storm of people just went, too much. I don't
Too much.
understand it. I'm
Yep.
going to go buy a Camaro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just curious as to how this is going to progress because I don't see it being done intelligently. And I think if I'll give some free advice to automakers, I think that if I was an automaker, I would have done many, many, many community activations where the cars were out there and let people just get in them without the pressure of a salesperson, where all their questions could be answered, but get in the car and experience it, learn to love it, and see if you could break down some of the reluctance to make that lifestyle. But expecting people to come into a dealership to try out the car, I mean, I think I'd just put it out there in the community and make it easy for them.
I think it was a situation where the OEM said, the car company said, well, we're giving you the product dealer. You deal directly with the consumer anyway.
Yeah.
Tell them what it does.
Yeah.
Here's some literature.
Right.
Here's
Yeah.
some here's a spec sheet. Go
Here's
nuts.
the
Go
spec.
sell it.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, you gotta pay to keep it on your floor.
Right. Yeah.
Now, true, they are
Mhm.
the dealer is the front line of defense with the customer. I get that.
Yeah.
But I think to your point, a little bit more moral support to those dealers at
Hmm.
that time to do those community. You're already in the community. That's why a
Yeah.
dealer's there.
Yeah.
I think there had to be a little bit more, um, and maybe the governmental pressure was part of that. I think they
Sure.
needed to step back a little bit more and do a little bit more of the legwork on the education to convince
Yes. I think so.
versus here it is. I'll
Yeah.
give you a great example. One of our clients is Tamaroff, the Tamaroff.
Hmm. Yeah.
They got Nissan, Acura, all non-domestic. Okay.
Okay.
I went into Jeffrey, which is Jeffrey Auto, which is part of their group, and it's a
Mhm.
Kia dealership. And I
Okay.
went in almost like a secret shopper. I didn't tell them, "Hey, I'm your PR guy from MPM. How you doing? Give me a deal."
Yeah. Right.
I went in cold, and I needed a car, and something small.
Hmm.
And that salesman, I'll never forget, Joe Washington.
Yeah. Okay.
That guy walked me through that dealership, and he said, "Have you ever thought, based on how many miles you're putting in, supposedly semi-retired guy,
Yeah.
you ever thought about an EV?"
Hmm.
Nope,
No.
never did.
Okay.
Guy took me on a test drive,
Yeah.
and I played dumb.
Hmm.
Ask Sarah, I do that really well. And the guy was amazing, man. And it took
Yeah.
15 minutes,
Really?
but the
Wow.
guy had the gift of gab,
Hmm.
and he knew damn well I didn't want to buy an EV,
Sure.
but he gave it a whirl. And I walked out of that car
Yeah.
a little less Sam and a
Hmm.
little bit more of a listener.
Okay.
But I appreciated what he said. Now I didn't get the
Sure.
EV; I got a Seltos.
Right.
But at the same time,
Hmm.
uh, I appreciated the effort, and sometimes it was more effort than I saw in 40 years from car companies trying to sell
Yeah.
these.
Yeah. Right.
That's no disrespect to my former employers. I love y'all.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
we ran before we walked.
Sure. Sure. Well, I mean, to me, it's a case study that's going to be looked at for years and years because um, if you think way back, and I'll just wrap up this part of it because we don't have that much time left, but there was a good EV, and then GM got rid of it, crushed them, literally crushed them, then had to start over again. Um,
My wife launched the Volt. She will tell you stories.
yeah, it was a beautiful car. The EV1 was a good car. Um, but it's just a story that drives me crazy because I think just personally, I think they did it wrong from the get-go and still not telling the story. So let's just move on because we've got about 10 minutes left. Um, and I don't want to run out of time, but just one thing, Sam, is the whole landscape of pitching stories now. We're dealing with different criteria that the news media needs, and also this whole incursion of artificial intelligence being used as a tool. I'm wondering if what you're seeing is in how the whole method of pitching stories successfully has sort of changed, and are you using AI at all in any of your processes?
I mean, from a personal side, as an old man, no.
Yeah,
What I
yeah.
use, certainly, I reach out on folks on social and or email. Okay,
Mhm.
but that can't be where it stops. The term is public relations. There's
Yeah,
relations element.
yeah.
Okay, guys like yourself,
Hmm.
get on the phone. Granted,
Yeah,
everybody's on deadline, but you
right.
know what? They will have time to talk to you.
Yeah,
If there's a time to grab any kind of lunch, any kind of, and don't make it about, give a variety of things that you're working on because
yeah,
they're working on a variety of things. They're wearing so many different hats. And you know
sure.
what? I'm going to go back to what I said at the outset.
Hmm.
The truth will set you free.
Yes.
Anybody calls me a spin doctor,
Hmm.
that raises my hackles because
Hmm.
I ain't spinning anything.
Right.
I'm going to give you as much of the truth as I can. Now, granted, in a case in litigation or class action suits, there's only so much I can share, but I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you why. I'm
Yeah.
not going to blow you off.
Right.
So it's honesty is the best policy. And
Oh,
and that's how those pitches have to be. It has to be a forming of a relationship. Unfortunately, a lot of the landscape in media has changed. A lot of retirements too, a lot of
yeah.
changes to the guard and a
Yes.
lot of inexperience out there, particularly in our sector, in some of the outlets. So it's like we said about EV adoption, there has to be a little bit of an education behind what you do. And that's not condescending. That's
Yeah.
let me give you the context so you know where I fit. And if I
Sure.
don't fit, just
Yeah.
tell me to go away.
Yeah.
So I can go bug somebody else.
Right. Right. Okay. And one last thing. I told you I was going to ask you, and maybe you had a chance to think about it. Dealing with reporters, what do reporters do that you, as a PR person, that really piss you off?
Uh it's not, sometimes in their case it's not their fault, but coming to an interview and say, hadn't read the study that we were supposed to be talking about. And these interviews get set up, they get set up the day before, but they could also get set up a week and a half out.
Yeah.
Prep, understand what you're walking into. I'm doing my best to make sure this client is telling you the truth and giving you the answers you're looking for. Please do the prep. Um, I don't mind 26 follow-ups on fact check. I actually applaud that.
Yeah.
But be ready when we get there. Be ready to go. I know you got a lot on your plate, so do we.
Yeah. Sure.
Um, but it saves you time and it gives a better accuracy of the story.
Awesome. All right, Sam, it's so great to talk with you. Great conversation. Hopefully, we'll meet over some free charcuterie or some other free eats, which the auto industry is wonderful at providing
Always do.
people on a regular basis.
If you need journalists to show up, you better have food.
You better feed them. You better feed them. We're not getting the shrimp anymore too much, but we'll take Ritz crackers and a piece of pepperoni. So
A couple of
that
chicken McNuggets and a
the chicken.
Budweiser, and I'll
Yeah,
be
right.
sold.
All right, Sam Locricchio, Director of Account Services at Near Perfect Media. So great to talk with you. We'll see you
Thank you.
again
Thanks
on
for
the
having me.
beat. I'm sure you bet. Enjoy your non-retirement. I'm enjoying mine as well.
And remember, PR people, if you're having an event, don't take out a suite at a Coldplay show if you don't really know the people.
That's right. And don't get kissy huggy either. All right. That's this edition of Tales from the Beat. For now, I'm Ed Garston. Thanks a lot for viewing. We hope you'll share, you'll comment, you'll subscribe, and we'll be back soon with more tales. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.